Good afternoon. Fantastic to see such a big crowd to watch my presentation. And what we're going to do today is to talk about GDPR compliance and how you can turn this burden into a business advantage. Today's agenda is to go through what is the challenge when you talk about GDPR. What is important? Things like cybersecurity. Most of the people will talk about GDPR, nobody will mention cybersecurity, which is a key element, probably one of the most important. Then we look at the transformation from the burden to the positive advantage for business, and then a screen for the demonstration. We couldn't do a live demo, but I have a few slides that show you how the system works. And then how we can do partnership with Odoo resellers and clients. That would be interesting. So if you are an Odoo reseller, what we're doing is to offer you the chance to add revenue stream to your normal business. And if you are a customer, an Odoo customer, we offer you an additional module that you can plug into your Odoo Enterprise and have a system that will help you get your compliance up to date. GDPR is an extremely expensive event if you get caught the wrong way. And you can end up with 20 million euro fine. The maximum fine can be 4% of your global turnover, which can be really, really significant. But what if you could turn this compliance exercise into a competitive advantage? What if you could be the champion doing GDPR properly and use that as a trust from your customers so that you understand and they understand the element of trust that you are building by managing their data the right way. The element I mentioned before, which is why cybersecurity is extremely important, is because most of the leak and most of the failure of GDPR compliance source its origin into a weak cybersecurity. So despite whatever protocol you have, despite whatever process you have and all the document you might have, the whole thing can fail through if you do not have a proper cybersecurity system in place. So your complete solution will be doing an Odoo platform, getting a process system with all the template, all the document, and a topped-up cybersecurity to wrap it up and protect it. Reality check, GDPR is complex, GDPR is expensive, and it's an extremely bad regulatory burden. 85% of the fines of GDPR are due to weak security, weak IT security, a poor cybersecurity posture. And your client will judge you on your ability to protect their data. And that's what you're facing. This is the reality of GDPR. Why the traditional approach fails, why it's not working properly? Because first, you have all your critical data spread over multiple systems. You have an Excel spreadsheet, you have a Word document, you have maybe a database, everything is scattered. The second thing is that the manual time that is a consuming process. What you have to do processing all these requests, interrogation, event into a manual system, it's time consuming. The third one is that you don't have any visibility unless you have a dashboard which gives you exactly where you are. You actually don't have any visibility and you end up not sleeping well at night because you are always under the anxiety of an audit by the regulator. So if we just review the real cost of not being compliant, we can just divide it into 4 steps. Financial cost is up to 4% of your turnover. It's high, it's extremely expensive, but that's not the only thing. The second element is you can have weeks of interruption of your business to fix the either data leak or the process that went wrong or whatever disaster that this non-compliance brought. And then you end up with customers who have lost their trust. You've mismanaged their data, it's absolutely terrible, and you've lost their trust forever. And you also miss some business opportunities. While you're dealing with all this, it's really, really hard to continue managing your business normally. So we divided the compliance into 4 steps, 4 pillars, going for visibility and control, moving to efficiency and automation, going to risk mitigation, and building trust with your client and making this an advantage. Let's go through them very briefly. First, a dashboard for your compliance, where you have real-time monitoring, you have full visibility on all your events, you can fetch out any data that you need, and you have ready-made documentation to fulfill your obligation. The second one is the automation. Our system will have intelligent reporting, and we have tested and believe that about 85% reduction in compliance management time is really possible. This is making it so much faster, so much easier, and you can turn work of weeks into hours and be compliant. You have all your streamlined documentation, you can visibility of your status across all departments, and you have compliance checks scheduled regularly. The risk mitigation is extremely important as well. The different approach between reactive, where you have damage control after a breach, where you have a crisis mode when something goes wrong and so on, and pay the penalty, to a proactive system where you actually plan, you organize, you have preventive measures, and you have continuous improvement in place. The proactive method gives you early risks detection, so you never get caught. And the last one is how you build this compliance exercise that you actually manage to do much faster, much better, much under control, into a trust for your client. And you are building a real trust with your client because they will work with you, they will get the customer loyalty, they know you're taking care of their data. This is an idea of the comprehensive dashboard that we're working with. And you can actually see on the system all the elements for each phases that you have to go through when you build your dashboard. The first one is the gap assessment. You create your critical roles. You have to define who's going to be the data controller, who's going to be the data processor. You organize all the roles, the legal responsibility, and then all your data handlers, people who will handle data in the system. And then you name your data controller, you name your data processor, you name your data protection officer. Once all these have been nominated, they have a real life document where they can actually see what their responsibility is and what is expected from them. And then you can perform a gap assessment. And the gap assessment will bring a complete view of your status. You will understand where you are, what is positive, what is negative, what you have to do next, and how you can organize your system with reports. You will have automated report at each phase. You will know constantly your position. And the phase 2, you will have to start mapping all your data. And you're going to need to understand what is processed from where, what they do with the data, where they store it, is it encrypted or not, does it cross border, who is responsible for it, under which legal basis it was collected, and all this will give you a complete data mapping of the whole company and all your data everywhere. Once you've done your data mapping, we're going to go to the next phase to have the education of your employees and to dispatch all your corporate documents. Our system will have templates for everything. You have a CCTV policy, you have to know people, how to handle CCTV element, what sign to put where, how to tell customers, how to tell people who are watched by the CCTV system, under which legal basis you collect the information from the CCTV and what you do with it. And any element that you will use for your PDPA, for your GDPR compliance, will be organized in the system automatically. Once you have decided on an element that people need to know about, the system will have the list of all your employees, and it will send automatically to everyone the element that they have to take care of. For instance, we said CCTV camera. They will say, I have read the policy. They have a number of days that you set up in the system. They will respond, I have read and I understand and I abide by the rules of the CCTV policy. And you have a full understanding of everybody in your company who has committed to respect all your corporate governance documents. Once we have all this, we will go to reporting on action, what to do next, what are my priorities. And we have a system that will automatically organize your work plan for the next quarter, for the next 2 quarters, so that you can know that by the end of your exercise, you have actually been able to be compliant on all these levels. Another element in our system is that we have an AI bot. The AI bot is only instructed on GDPR or the other element that we manage in compliance, and it will answer any question that you have on the GDPR. You can ask whatever question. It doesn't go out in the internet. You cannot ask the recipe for a Belgian waffle, but you can ask anything about GDPR. It's fully knowledgeable and it will be able to answer. So the bot will assist you in your compliance element at every step. And then in the end you get your report. Whoever needs to know your status of compliance, you will simply click on a button and it will produce the requested report, and you can email it or you can submit it. We have an AI system that monitors all the data and everything on the system, but we have done this in a quite clever way. 2 mechanisms. One mechanism, we can actually use AI from a bot outside, an LLM outside the office. But if we do that, we have to anonymize all the data, and we only use that for statistics and numbers, but never do we send any private data or specific sensitive data to the LLM. The alternative, when we use AI to produce report and to produce action list, we actually set this up on an internal server, and we set up for our customer. At the moment, we use a Mac Mini M4, which is perfectly fine for a small company, which is very reasonable in price. It's over $1,000, but not much more. And that can contain all the information, all the document we need. So we work with, on one side, the Odoo SH system, Odoo Enterprise, that runs our module, and then we question the AI that sits in the office of the client and does not go out on the internet, but talks and get data downloaded from Odoo to the AI and produce the report, produce the recommendation. So it really is a compliant system. If you use data, you send them on the internet, you send them on ChatGPT, you've lost your compliance. It doesn't make sense. So that's the real important element here. This is what the system looks like. All the questions by phases are on the screen. You can pick any donut, and then it will open, and you will have all the set of questions. It handles all the regulation of GDPR, and if you try to read the GDPR regulation, it can be really hard to understand. It can be really dry and really unpleasant, and trying to understand what they mean is sometimes sophisticated, complicated. So what we have done, we have taken every single question from the GDPR Bible, and we have spliced it up into small sorts of elements where if you read the first element and the second one, you understand them all, and if you tick the box for each of them, once you've ticked all the boxes, you have answered the main question without having to go through it and the pain to understand it. So it's a very, very easy system, and it was designed with a drag and drop. So you just have a question, you start, you move it in progress, you move it completed, and then you can dig into a question and look at all the elements and tick some of these boxes, and then you go to the audit phase. So the system works very, very smoothly, very, very easy, and in the Odoo spirit, it works like that. So it went a little bit faster than expected, and I wanted to keep this short. So we have now gone through the whole presentation. We are looking for partners to operate iComply. We are looking for partners to resell our solution. It's a new revenue stream for a partner. It's a good possibility for a client. The solution we have is either a standard reseller agreement or possibly a white label solution, and we encourage cross-selling opportunities through networks of lawyers, network of accountants, things like that. How do we start this? Well, we can give you a demo remotely. We can give you access to a demo system or a testing system. We just need to collect some data, you send a request, and we will organize the demo for you. We organize a partner onboarding where we train you, we give you the time needed to work on the system and operate it, and then you can launch your compliance service. You can start offering GDPR solution to your client. An important element is that we talk about GDPR, but we do a lot more than GDPR. Our system handles GDPR requests, but we also handle DORA. DORA is the Operational Efficiency and Resilience Act. So if you do and if you work in fintech, in financial organization, you have to be compliant with DORA, which is another much complex system. We handle all the questions for DORA. We have put in the system ISO 9001 for manufacturing. We also have ISO 27001 for service industry. So if your compliance is about ISO certification, if you already are certified but you need to maintain it every year and be checked, our system will keep everything under control, and you can publish your report, you can add your revision of policies, and you have your ISO compliance as well. And we're now looking at Kaizen, which is a system where we minimize the waste in a company by improving efficiency and constantly improving the company. So what we have is a framework, not just for GDPR, but for any requirement you might have. You might want to be compliant with health regulation. You supply food to an industry. You have to be compliant with their regulation, and all that works fine. So if you want to launch your compliance service, this is how we can do it. Now, this is the QR code to ask any question.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Bernard. I'll leave all of you a few minutes to open the QR code. Actually, I will open it as well, and then I'll be able to ask you a few questions. Maybe a starting question while waiting for everyone else to ask questions is,
You're nice, thank you.
what is your pricing like?
Our pricing is very simple. It's an SaaS solution. So you have a setup fee to set it up on your installation, on your Odoo system. You have a monthly fee to run the system, and then you pay per client that you put on the system. So it's your compliance system. You have 20 customers, and you're going to put them all on this system, and you're going to charge them based on the size of the company. The pricing model varies from a few $100 up to $1,500 for a very big enterprise. I want to say that everything that you need for your compliance is included in our system, including messaging, including communication. We give you the code to put on your website so that if you want to handle the data subject request, you already have this on your website and people can fill in the document, you receive their request. You have a full automated process on how you handle that request. You can either respond to it or you can decline it. You have like a very important element. When somebody asks you to access data that belong to them, is to authenticate these people. If you don't authenticate them, you have a first breach of security because your system did not include the authentication. So all these elements are included.
That's brilliant. Okay, you have a delighted member of the audience who says everything was clear. Thank you for the presentation. So, since we're not that many, if you want to ask Bernard any more questions, I would suggest you find him directly. Can you tell us whether you have a booth here or?
No, we don't have a booth here, but we take questions either now. You come and see me, and then we will organize the demo for you, or you request it through safecoms.com, or you check our website. So, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.